Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now today's video is going to be a part 2 to the tractor buying video and collecting. This video is going to be a bit different than the usual sort because I'm not around and wasn't really around to record as much as you guys would probably like because now I've been busy. So most of this is going to be like catching us up along with getting some of the ins and out. But yeah, enjoy deconstructing the tractor and figuring out what's wrong and what all we got to do to get her going good. Alright folks, we got the hand crank on the Super C here, and as you can see it's going very well. There it goes. Seems like it's going much better there. Oh, well I can't see that from here.
Handle's a little bent.
But it doesn't seem like it's turning at all.
But I just put it in at like 4 or 5 o'clock last night.
Put in what?
I put in essential lube, some old essential lube grip I used to use on tractors years ago. Equipment, motors that were locked up. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it don't. Let her sit for a little longer, let that soak in some more. I filled cylinder 2 up all the way. Take this over to the vise and see if I can straighten this out. Alright, that's about as far as we're gonna get today. Okay, so as you can see, we've been doing some work on it, and first thing we tried doing was I got it broke free finally, and it was rotating around really well. So we tried to get spark. This stud goes through the distributor, and they had all the rubber seals were gone in it. Somebody had worked on it and took them totally out for some reason. So I jerry-rigged up a couple washers and a piece of fuel line on it. Finally, and then my dad's Super C, he had an old set of points, and I put them in because the new points that were in it for some reason were shorting out everywhere. Got spark, had spark plugs, and tried starting it, and it wouldn't start, wouldn't even think of it, giving it a pretty good shot of ether, and it didn't even try. So we took the plugs out and did compression tests on it, and not a single cylinder had any compression at all. Took the valve cover off, and Dave can insert a picture here of what the top of the engine looked like when we took the valve cover off. It wasn't pretty at all. None of the valve train moved when we rolled it over. They all just sat there. It was all rusted up. So as you can see now, I've got rocker assembly soaking in diesel fuel, but I don't have a lot of hope for it. It is rusted solid. The head lays on the floor over there. I've got the valves going up and down, most of them. It lays on the floor right here. Most of the valves are going up and down now. There's one that sticks a little bit. We may try this afternoon. My dad's bringing over his stuff, and we may try reseating the valves ourselves. There was one bent push rod, if you can see right here.
Ooh, yeah, I can see it from here. That one's definitely bent.
I think we can straighten that and make it work. The lifters are stiff, but they are going up and down. I think once we get the head back on it and the rocker, a good rocker assembly on it, I think they'll be okay. They'll work themselves out. I'm going to try to clean this groove out, get all the gunk out of there. But I can put the valve lifters in and push the lifters down, or put the push rods in and push the lifters down. And then when I roll it over, they'll come up. They just don't go back down on their own. But I think once I get the valves good and the lifters on to where it's got pressure pushing them down, I think they may lube themselves up. I put a lot of WD-40 and stuff down in there. So right now we're currently going to see, did a little research. I believe these are what they call the fire crater pistons, because they're not a flat top piston like it would normally have, which is a good sign. So cylinder 2 has some rust, a little bit of rough rust in the cylinder. The rest of them look pretty good, so I think we're going to try honing it with the pistons down these two, and then we'll roll it over and put these two down, hone them, put everything back together and try to fire it up. If it runs and don't smoke real bad, we're probably just gonna run it that way. The gaskets all look good yet except for this one, and we have some gasket material here. We'll cut a new one out and put on this and put it back together and try it. If it runs and runs decent, we're gonna run it that way because it'll be a lot cheaper. We don't have the extra income to strip this motor down and rebuild it like we would love to do. So
maybe if this series does well, you guys might be able to see that.
Yep, if it does well and everybody responds to the video well, maybe next winter we'll have enough money saved up. Maybe we'll bring it back in and strip the motor down completely and new sleeves and maybe even overbore it, get more power out of it for pulling. And I think that's about all we've done right at the moment. It's just pull the top end off, trying to figure out what's going on. So did drain the oil, didn't have any water in the oil, which was a good sign. So
that's definitely good.
if we can get the valve seated, the valves reseated on the head, get that back together, and I found the rocker assembly online. We may try to order this week where I can put it back together, and we'll hone them and then put it back together, and maybe by next weekend we can try to see if we can get it to bark off and run. That'd be awesome if it would. Then we can start working on some other stuff on it, getting it prepped and ready for pulling. Okay, so we're working on the Super C again. Decided to take the oil pan off, check things in the oil pan, pull the pistons and check the rings. The rings are pretty much all stuck, so we'd have never probably got it to run right. The piston rings are all stuck right to the pistons, so you would never get compression. I did two already. The pistons are so brittle, or the rings are so brittle that they come out in pieces. We're gonna have to try to find rings at some point here this weekend to try to get this back together. This one's pretty stiff. I only have one piston so far that the rings all come out and went back on, so we're probably gonna have to get a set of 4 rings and put it all back together with. So yeah. And that's what they're doing. They're so stuck in, they're just breaking instead of pulling out and popping off like they should be. Bearings are decent for the connecting rods. I mean, they could be a little nicer, but they're not horrible. I think we can run them. The shop mechanic and I looked it over a little bit yesterday, and I think we can get away with those. Now I gotta see if I can get this whole ring out.
So we got to get that upper in the lower part of that thing you're pulling out.
There's this piece, and this piece has to get, this bottom ring has to come out, and then that thing will come out. And once we get everything out, we can get the groove cleaner out, clean the pistons up, we'll clean these rings up and just stick them back on it for the moment. That one. Now, this oil ring, it's hard to see, but there's a little split, and I've done it before, so I know where to look. And then we can clean this up.
So can we use that again?
Possibly. But if I can get, more than likely a ring set will come with all new of everything.
So we might as well use them.
So we might as well use the brand new stuff as we put used junk in it and do it. We're going to do it right. The shop mechanic gave me this tool that he had to use, and has different cutters on it. And basically this is a ring groove cleaner. So you squeeze this down in, squeeze it. This should be piston 2, I believe. This is the one that had the rust in the cylinder. They're honing the cylinder and it looks pretty good. I think we can get away with it. Groove here, there's a bunch of crap in it.
Oil groove.
I'll have some, took some pictures when I took the oil pan off so you can insert them at some point. See all the nasty gunk that was laying in the bottom of it.
No, what's that for?
WD-40.
To lubricate it.
No, just kind of clean some of the gunk. And now, I mean, they're still gunky, but they look way better now than they did before. Well, and there's a whole process for putting these back together once you get your rings and stuff. And I've just been sitting in the cylinders for now, so I know where to go. Just kind of sit there because you got to squeeze everything together to put the piston down in once you get it. But these two need to run our rings. So this one, number 4, was the one we could get out, and the rings all look half decent. All the rest of them are pretty well stuck.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, give this video a like. If you like the channel, you can subscribe and turn on notification bells to get notified of all further uploads. And if you really want to help me out, you can click the cards in the video to take in more content, along with going to w.gg using code GRANDMAAM to get 10% off. And with that, I'll do. Adios.